and 131 ahead. Of course, you know by now the IPL is in full swing, and the Barbadian Kyle Myers came off with a bang at a brilliant 71 in his first game, and I think he followed his second knock with a half century. So he seems to be in good form and enjoying the early days in the IPL. We'll look into more detail, of course, as we go through the program. So, cricket, first the Woodland Islands, by now you should have known they have placed second. They did not win the championship. They were in a good position, but they went without losing a match. They drew 2 matches, I think, and won 2. I think that's it. Won 3 matches. So the Windwards did very well under captain Atanaz, who himself had a prolific season and now is knocking on the doors of the selectors. So young Atanaz, our local Dominican, doing very well in the just concluded first-class season. And of course, Sri Lanka is playing still in New Zealand, not doing too well at all in the white ball version. In fact, they lost both test matches and not doing well at all on the entire tour. They think they just won 1 with a super over. 1 match went to they tied more or less, and they had to play a super over. And Sri Lanka, I think that's their only success on this tour. They played 2 test matches, 3 ODIs, 1 being rained off, and 3 T20s. Not a very good tour at all for them. Tennis. Daniil Medvedev won the Miami Open as his second ATP tournament for the year so far, and Medvedev beat Yannick Sinner in the final match. But before that, there was an epic match between Yannick Sinner, Italian guy, against Carlos Alcaraz, who was then the number 1 player in the world and looking to do what they call the sunshine double. That is to win the Indian Wells Open, followed by the Miami Open, Masters 1000. But he failed in his semifinals. And Sinner, who is a tall, lanky Italian guy, looks very much like our own DJ Slim here in Dominica. To my mind, at least, he looks very, very much like DJ Slim. And Yannick Sinner played very well. He beat Carlos Alcaraz in 3 sets in the semifinals, but he went down to Medvedev. And so Novak Djokovic is reinstated at number 1, and Alcaraz has dropped to number 2. People like Tsitsipas and Zverev did not do too well in this tournament. So very soon they're going to have the clay tournament in Roland Garros, and that should be in a couple of weeks from now. So that's tennis for you. Of course, we have a couple interviews here today. We're going to speak with the newly elected Vice President of Cricket West Indies, Mr. Bazarat. Should have him later on in the program. We'll have, of course, Gerald George with an update on football and 1 or 2 other basketball as well, and 1 or 2 other matters. So that's our program for today, the 6th of April, 23. Sebastian, good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening to you and the listeners. It's Holy Week, Ozzy.
Yeah,
Holy Week.
Holy Week.
Holy Week.
Yes.
And you're Catholic, Ozzy, right?
Yes.
I am as well, and I do go to church all the time. I know Easter Sunday I've been church in Collio.
You go to church occasionally?
No, all the time. I go all the time.
Yes,
I go to church.
But you use the back benches.
Yeah, but it's nice to go to church. I mean, there's nothing wrong.
Yes.
But the only, Ozzy, as we're in Holy Week, and this morning I listened to the news on another radio station, and I found it very disturbing that in Holy Week and people who read the Bible, you heard talk about people want to talk about their rights and want to legalize buggery. No, seriously, Ozzy. We are in Holy Week where the Bible is saying that these things are against God's will. And we're hearing on the news where people are asking for the rights and the
something
law
you
to be
feel that
changed.
really flies in the face of the Bible and the teachings of the Bible.
Exactly, and we're in Holy Week.
Today, yes.
On Holy Thursday, we hear news, on big news in a radio station, that somebody wants the law changed so that people can be free to get themselves involved in buggery in Dominica.
Well, I guess they're claiming what they say is their constitutional right.
So you serious?
Yes.
I mean, nobody constitution. Well, I don't know. That is not in Dominica's constitution for sure. But they're saying it's illegal. The thing I'm saying, we are in Holy Thursday, in Holy Week.
The timing is wrong.
Very
Just
wrong.
to mention, it's wrong anyhow.
But
more wrong today.
On Holy Thursday, to a big news that a man saying the law should be changed so that people to be free to be involved in buggery. I mean, I say, Mark Sam, and I mean, that's how Dominica, we are in Dominica. That's why we have a curse. Yeah. And people saying they have their rights, Their rights.
Yeah, they're claiming their rights, constitutional rights, the right to associate with anybody they want to.
This to me, I am sure people like Pastor Rodney and them I would say, man, this thing is crazy. In Father John with people like that, and Brother Branca John. Because
it is illegal in most of the countries around the world.
Well, wrong is a big thing now in the world. Yeah. In fact, you get ostracized if you try and go against these people. Yeah, you get ostracized.
Powerful,
Very powerful. In
and
fact,
influential.
In elections now, they have a lot of power. Yeah. Their votes, that they can decide who wins an election, and I just find. But what I am saying, in our part of the world also, people are against that. And in a Holy Week, to be on the news, I find that
Dominica is dominated by the Christianity.
Exactly.
Especially Catholicism.
Yeah, and it's insensitive, really, to have that on the news when it is Holy Thursday, talking about people want right to be involved in buggery. I mean, I just find this is crazy in Dominica. Really, really, really. Well, that is it. But also, I don't know. By the way, good night, Peter Karam. Peter Karam, good night. Peter seems to be upset with a lot of things.
I heard him in a comment today.
Well, yeah, but he has a voice note. We cannot play his voice note. Yes. But Peter, the IMF has recently said that Dominica there'll be growth of 4.5.
Yeah.
Now, Peter in his voice note is saying it's over 2 years now. He has apartments, cannot be rented, also in their businesses. And he said the IMF
sold 9 vehicles for the year.
Yeah. Well, no, he's saying the IMF should go to hell. That's what he said. Yes. And he also goes on further to say the growth is in a certain part. We cannot talk about it on the radio. I thought it to be hilarious. When I heard it, I was laughing. I thought it to be a joke. But Peter is upset.
Yes.
And he said that the growth is somewhere.
The growth.
The growth they're talking about, if it's there, so and so. Yes. You know how his father used to speak, right?
Yes.
And the way that voice would come, Peter Karam. Yes. Again, Peter is a guy who was boasting how in their votes caused somebody to lose. You remember that, right?
Yes.
5 votes. A few years ago, it was 2000. He said it was their votes which caused somebody to win, and Peter seems to be feeling the pinch now.
He feel he's getting a good deal.
No, and especially not being ref. And he cannot imagine the IMF could be saying that the growth, 4.5 growth. I mean, I say, man, this is crazy. Peter Karam.
Well,
but also, you mentioned about Lobby has joined us. Lobby, good night.
Good night. How are you all?
Lobby has joined us. Right, Lobby. Good evening to you.
And happy Easter for you all, one of you all.
Good night. We're good, Lobby.
And happy Easter to you all.
Well, you're a bit early. Thanks, anyhow.
Don't mind that.
Somebody is just saying that the Pope, a headline, Pope says homosexuality is not a crime. Criticizes anti-gay laws. Yes, that is unbelievable.
I tell you. The difference
and here, let me go to Pope Francis criticized laws that criminalize homosexuality as unjust, saying God loves all his children just as they are, and called for Catholic bishops who support the laws to welcome LGBT people into the church. My goodness, man. What? And they say when the Pope speaks, all his followers agree with his views. I find that.
I don't agree for sure.
No way. We have a caller. Let's take the caller. That is crazy. I never believe the Pope could be making a statement like that, Ozzy.
Yes. Hello, there's someone calling on that?
Yeah. Lobby, what did you say?
I said I don't agree at all with the Pope.
Well, similarly myself, I'm shocked that the Pope is making a statement like that.
I think we have a caller.
Good night.
Hello.
Maybe the Pope should go to Rahum Divarum, something to the encyclical.
Rahum Divarum.
Rahum Divarum, something the encyclical.
Good night. Go ahead.
Gentlemen.
Good night.
Okay, blessings. Good evening.
Mr. Luis, how the family doing now? How is the lady?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you, blessings. Not too bad.
May God continue to guide and protect and bless and heal all you. God blessing.
Indeed.
Oh, you should see Kamala Harris. Did you follow Kamala Harris, the Vice President of America?
Well, she's making the news again?
In Africa.
Oh, in Africa.
Her mother is African or Indian, and father is
Indian. Her mother is Indian.
Indian.
Okay, her mother is Indian, father is African.
Her father is a Jamaican, I think.
Jamaican
parents.
Yes.
You remember softball target? Who remember softball target? Fellas would take softball and you have to be ducking and hitting you with softball. So I would not ask for her to be stoned to death, but I would in a big ring and everybody have the softball. Kamala Harris in Africa looking to sanction, what's that fella Idi Amin country name again?
Uganda.
Just past Bogrilos. And they're looking to sanction several countries in Africa because they have to get rid of the Bogrilos. And guess who they send to do that dirty job for them? Kamala Harris.
Harris.
Gentlemen, and all my guardian angels eternally indebted, thankful and grateful. Blessings.
Okay, blessings.
Yeah, I don't understand that thing. I'm shocked that the Pope should come up with a statement like that. I'm very shocked.
Not to me, he has made similar statements. Not exactly that, but he has made similar statements. We should love the people who are gay and so on. They're human beings. Yes. They should be loved like anybody else.
Sebastian.
Yes, Lobby.
Years ago, people did their thing undercover. It was never amplified. Suddenly, it has given in all this amplification and glorification.
But the thing is, it's legal, it's legal now.
But who legalizing it is who?
Well, Mary Doma, whatever their name is in Dominica, wants it legalized. We have a caller. Hold on, let's take the caller. Good night.
Their rights observed. Is their rights, they say.
Good night.
Yes.
Hello, Sibo.
Yes.
That's the Joluva.
How are you, man?
You went to grammar school, Sibo?
Yes.
And Mr. Ozzy, you went to grammar school too, right?
Yes, indeed.
Correct.
Yes.
Mr. Luis and Mr. Sebastian, I just don't understand what happened yesterday.
What happened to him?
During the funeral of Mr. Dr. Orenbudi. There was no representative from the grammar school. Something is wrong.
Shocking.
No representative. And listen to me. The principal of the school should have sent a contingent with around 30 or more students.
And he was once the headmaster.
Look where you're right.
When they were taking him out of the church, with a flag in their hand. And where is our country going to? Thank you.
Good point.
No, good point by Lufa, You are the
principal of the grammar school.
Mr. Bully,
Yes.
Good night. Another caller. Good night.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, you're batting very low those days. Good night.
We live in a world now, we expect anything you'll have to call Mr. Maynard later to find out if that really happened in St. Kitts, because there was a report showing you hail coming down in St. Kitts, and the news report from wrong somewhere in the world said that would be happening. So call Mr. Maynard and find out if that really happened, so we can.
Well, he's listening. I guess he will call and tell us. I'm sure he's listening.
Yeah, Mr. Maynard, please call and tell us what happened in there. Now, so Mr. Maynard, while you're there, ask your lawyer friend, Leonard, what are you calling him? The Leonard lawyer, the man that working on our
election reform.
Electoral reform, Mr. Maynard, ask that man.
Well, he doesn't live in St. Kitts, You mean you're talking about
Mr. Byron?
Byron lives in St. Lucia.
Byron.
St. Lucia, that's where he lives. Yeah, he's from St. Kitts, but he lives in St. Lucia.
Oh,
he lives in St. Lucia.
Ask him that question. What is he doing? What he letting them people take him and put him around the barrel for?
No, but seriously, as Blue is saying that, I don't find that a joke really.
But he must have a sense of his own integrity, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself.
But what's happening with that? I mean, nobody seems to know. So long.
You might brighter than a satellite, and you letting the people hold you and put you around the barrel like that. No, man, Mister. That man should come up.
I think Byron is disgracing himself.
Oh yeah, I think right now, yeah. He has done that.
Opinion.
Good night, yeah.
From the time into the contract, it was unconstitutional because the commission is the body.
Exactly, in Dominica, yeah.
A politician can employ you.
Yeah.
To say about
and
election.
not only that, and
from that alone,
private discussion with politicians. Nobody knows the nature of your discussion.
Yeah, he should not.
Yeah, I mean, I just find he really is something else. We have another.
He has compromised himself tremendously.
Good night.
Good night, Tibo.
Hi, how are you?
I'm there, Mr. Ozzy.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Hello, Black is there.
Already, the man is looking about CCJ in St. Lucia. He don't have time for Dominica right now.
Interesting.
Well, Byron, he does observing timelines, nothing.
Nothing. I mean, nobody's hearing anything.
Nothing at all. You don't hear his voice at all.
I don't find that to be a big joke.
Gentlemen, Sebastian.
Yes, Lobby.
You have to understand in the world of today, is integrity common as before?
Not really.
People, the love of money is the problem in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to understand that when our maker give us that call, we go empty-handed. We just go with a name.
Well,
from the outset, the whole thing was a thing that was not blessed in heaven. That whole deal with Byron taking that job from a politician.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
also, we have a caller.
You should realize that it was unconstitutional, and he should, with integrity, should not have accepted a job of that nature.
Good night. Good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
So I just wanted to weigh in on the first statement to make about the Pope. Because the Pope had made a statement
similar
a couple years ago. He said that one of the commandments is to
love everybody.
Love
your neighbor. Yes.
So that the Ten Commandments. Love your mother and your father. So days will be long upon the land. But the Pope said that commandment is outdated.
Outdated?
Love your parents. So when he said love your parents, he's not saying to love your mother and your father. So what do you mean to say a parent could be a man and a woman, meaning that two women married can be a parent. Two men married can be a parent. Just to, as the Sebastian said, just to prop up that gay business, So that's one of the reasons he said it shouldn't be your mother and your father, it should be a parent, because two women can be a parent and two men can be a parent. Thank you.
Yeah, we have another call again. People seem to be interested in that topic here.
That's a topic that is very controversial.
Gentlemen, good evening to you, and thank you for service rendered to people and country.
Thank you.
I salute you all for your level of integrity, your honesty, your track record of serving the people of Dominica. First of all, Byron should not be speaking to no party leader.
But
every party leader falls within the same bracket. He's supposed to be speaking to the integrity in office. What they call it,
Electoral Commission. That's the constitutional body, independent body.
That is who he should be speaking to, not to no political leader.
Full stop.
And if he's speaking to one political leader, he must speak to every political leader.
Exactly.
You understand? That is that this man has compromised his integrity. I have no respect for this man. He has compromised his integrity.
Big time, in my opinion. Big time.
Money is the root of all evil. And in the last days, men will become lovers of money. And that's what we are seeing. How this man can bring his reputation in that ruin like that.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yes, caller, thank you.
Yes, caller, very, very much to the point, in my opinion.
Yes, shameful that, very
shameful. Outside, this thing was never a deal done in heaven at all. It was not.
And it'll be interesting to see his report. It'll be very interesting.
I'd love to see the report.
What comes out of his report. Very interesting to see his report.
From what you're hearing, there are certain parts that he has twisted around already, to suit the powers that be.
Good night. Hello?
Yeah, people
Ridiculous.
find out something in a place. If it's election year at the Dominican Football Association, when Judge call later.
Why are you saying that? So we want to know. So when we ask you, why are you want us to ask that?
Because I was going through my file and I think this year should be election year.
Okay.
And I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, so Toti, you're vying for position or what?
Well, you see, I am on the ground now. I'm on the ground. I'll be up soon.
So you are doing some work on the ground work? Huh?
I will elaborate.
Okay, thank you. We'll ask him that question. We'll surely ask him for you. We'll ask him. Okay, thanks. So you want to know, ask Gerald John if the election's coming up for the Football Association.
Interesting point.
Interesting point. Yeah. I don't know why he's saying that. If you feel that Gerald is campaigning for his men, I don't know if that's what he's
But Sebastian,
yes, Logan?
Are you on the football? Tell me, do you agree with me that our football is on the low?
Well, it has been like that for a while.
On the low is an understatement, Dobby. On the low.
Yeah, our football,
I think our football will take a rest. Go and relax a while. Take a hiatus. Go on a rest.
What is gentlemen have me when PJ was president with very liquid resources in terms of money from FIFA compared to now. We had a higher ranking. We have dropped very low. We are going very low.
That's true.
Yeah, the standard here has left a lot to be desired, really, to be honest. We have left a lot to be desired. Yes. Yeah.
The time is 6:29.
Yeah, so we'll probably take a break, and then when we come back, we'll join Donnie Robinson, tell us something about basketball.
A brief period.
Yeah, take our first break.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets, PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I'll talk about tennis still then. Yeah. Yes, I think are we back on?
Not yet. No.
Oh.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show on Q95. The entire Caribbean is listening to Sports Wrap on the big station every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. with renowned veteran sports commentator and retired magistrate Ozzie Lewis, famous cricketer and sports analyst Lockhart Sibo Sebastian. Sports Wrap, your one-stop shop for unique, inclusive, in-depth analysis of local, regional, and international sports, bringing you the best in sports debate and up-to-the-minute information and statistics. Sports Wrap, every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. 2 exciting hours of pure, exciting sports talk. The experts are in the house. Sports Wrap, every Thursday evening, only on the big station, only on Q95. Lock it in.
Hello, you ever get a compliment like that? Oh, Belle, come Maribel. Well, Maribel is giving it away. No, not your neighbor Maribel. I'm talking about the line of Maribel products at AC Shillingford and Company Limited. And yes, you can win a rice cooker. Just mix and match any 5 Maribel products, be it pasta, lasagna, oil, tuna, jasmine and parboiled rice, mac and cheese, pet rice, or mackerel. To qualify, simply write your name, address, telephone number at the back of your receipt of purchase and place it in the box provided at any ACS location. ACS Downtown on King George V Street, High Street, and Pottersville. Call us at 275-3428 or visit us at the main branch on King George V Street to place your bulk orders. The draw takes place on Friday, 14th April 2023. Imagine belle, eat well with ACS and Maribel.
Rudolph Thomas.
Welcome back to Sports Wrap. It's now 6:33, and we're hoping to make our first stop. But just a brief note on the tennis taking place out there in Miami. It ended last week with, to me, the highlight of the tournament was the match between Carlos Alcaraz, this sensational young boy, 19-year-old from Spain, against Yannick Sinner, Italian tall guy, maybe about 23 years old, and in the top 10. This match was a fantastic match, and in the end, Sinner won, beating him in his semifinal. So Carlos Alcaraz, who looked invincible up to that point, went down to Yannick Sinner, tall Italian guy. But in the end, Sinner had to play Medvedev, who beat him in the finals, and so the Sunshine Double was not achieved. That is, winning both the Indian Wells tournament and the Miami Open tournament. I think we're going to have some tournament on clay now at the next ATP Tour Masters 1000, and this will take place pretty soon, I would think. But of course, it's going to be the French Open coming up not too far from now, and it's yet to be seen if that famous guy Nadal will look for his 14th. Imagine that he has won the French Open 13 times. Can he go on to win it for? Well, will his health allow him to compete? He's not too well of late, but one doesn't know. So that's just a couple of weeks from now. Should be very interesting indeed. Right. So Lockhart,
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic, just briefly to say, is back reinstated as number 1 player in the world, because Carlos Alcaraz has been demoted, having lost to Yannick Sinner, and then Yannick Sinner went on to play Medvedev, the Russian player, who demolished him in the finals in Miami. So Medvedev, a lot of people feel that at his very best, there are few players on this globe who can play better than Daniel Medvedev. And Novak, with his problem with his visa and vaccination problems, one doesn't know how many tournaments he's going to be allowed to play. And I think by now, most of that should be settled, but we'll see how much more time Novak has in the sport. Because he is now on, 23 years? Both himself and Nadal are tied on 23 Grand Slams. So it'll be interesting to see how many they would end up by the end of their career. So that's interesting what's going on in the world of tennis. Yeah. Trying to get Mr. George.
We'll get Gerald George. By the way, Ozzy, a young Dominican guy, and his Fountain made 100 in the West Indies under 15 tournament Tuesday against Leeward Islands.
Yes.
And they beat Leeward. A young guy, under 15.
Dominican guy.
Yeah, Anisha Fountain. And you know, his sister, Anisha, was in the West Indies under 19 team in South Africa. Eh? So it's in the family.
Cricketing family.
And today, we know what won and two. They lost today because the game was reduced to 20 overs. And Anisha again top scored with 23 out of 72. It was reduced because of rain. But Win was lost today. But they won nothing.
I see Pearl 18 is still around.
She's been around for captain.
She's around forever.
Yes,
she's around 15 years in the game.
She's what you call the rail veteran.
Yeah, she Must be wrong.
She's traveling on Saturday with the Dominican team.
I see. It has to be another Pearl Etienne.
No, the same
Pearl Etienne?
Same one.
Oh, would she be in the late 30s?
No.
40s?
Probably more. Yeah,
50.
Well, I don't know what.
She's been around forever.
Yeah, she's a real veteran.
Yeah.
Veteran.
Well, I hope she has inspired many of the young girls who take
because there are a few young girls playing now. So,
right.
So I guess she
inspired,
she's the captain. Yeah.
Pearl Etienne is the captain.
Yeah, she's the captain. They go to St. Lucia.
Because she made the West Indies team.
Yes, a few years ago, she made the West Indies team.
Some years ago.
Yeah, we were supposed to have done the Robinson, but we will. Gerald George now. We'll see if we can speak.
Do we have Mr. George then?
No, we'll try and get him now.
Yeah.
Try and get him now so he can tell us about it. But also, going back to the Windwards thing, last week I was really upset because I really thought Windward Islands were in pole position on Friday night to win the championship. Because Guyana looked like they were going to lose.
Yeah.
88 for 1 chasing 143. You would think that team will lose.
Yes.
And Windwards having team to score. So you expect Windwards to win. Yeah. So on Saturday, I'm watching both games. So I say, well, let me follow the Guyana game because I expect them to lose, and then then I'll go to the Windwards game. So I watched for a while, then I went to the Windwards game. And then after, so I said, let me tune to the Guyana game. So I'm seeing about he coming to ball to Cornwall. So I said, Saturday was April Fool's Day. so I thought the commentators were playing the fool. It was an error.
Yeah.
So I said, let me watch. So I said, but what the hell is this? So when I saw that, I sent a message to Liam.
It was crumbled.
So I sent a message to Liam. I said, Liam, it looked like Leeward Island selling out.
But
I said,
it collapsed badly.
Selling out. So I moved across again. When I took 10 minutes later, when I put back, I'm seeing men jumping up. And I'm saying to myself, man, they should have an inquiry into that. 88 for 1. You expect that team to win. And Powell, in that team, you had how many men batsmen were played for West Indies? Kyron Powell and Cathy were brought in overnight.
Yes.
2 men who have played for West Indies. Still to come was Devon Thomas.
Yes.
Jama Hamilton.
Cornwall.
All these people have played for West Indies. And Clive Butt was on commentary and was making the point that nothing untoward,
devilish in the pitch.
Nothing devilish, no ball spinning, and it was really.
There's about 70 odd runs to get. It's 9 wickets in hand.
60-something runs to get.
60-something.
And they had 9 wickets in hand. And they lost the game by 17 runs.
Unbelievable.
And that is why West Indies cricket can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because
when you feel there was some fixing there.
Well, we don't want to say that on the radio.
You cannot say that.
We cannot say that. Yeah. But I don't feel there should be an inquiry into that. Because it cannot be
a shocking demise.
Yeah, that was hurtful for the Windward because I said the Windward Islands was going to win that championship. And when I said, no, man, that is a joke.
So the winners have never won the championship.
No, but they won it twice, but never won it for them. You remember in 82-83, we were denied it by 2 points both here.
We
didn't go to Guyana because they say it didn't make sense to come because of rain. And the points were shared so that we were denied the championship. But man, I tell you, that was shocking what went on there. And I said,
so you have a championship only for combined islands, okay?
Yeah, combined islands won, yeah. But Windward Island, as manager of the Windward Island, we won it.
Yes,
when Liam was captain in Barbados.
No, but not in your playing time.
No, but that was a chance for Windward Island.
Yeah, because I said 60 odd runs.
Yeah, that was
9
shocking.
wickets in hand. You know, it shows.
You expect that team to win. Yeah, it's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, cricket can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
in cricket,
true.
But still, you find it a little bit preposterous, man.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
The pitch didn't crumble for
nothing like that.
And you had a great bat, 60 odd runs on the verge of winning.
And I said that is why West Indies cricket is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Because when a team 80-something for 1. And
160 to win.
Not 140. 143 to win. And we have 4 or 5 men.
You were shocked.
I was annoyed. I was pissed off. I'm telling you. Because I couldn't believe that. I said, what the hell is going on? 88 for 1 overnight. Paul will batting 47.
There should be an inquiry into that.
Of course, I feel
inquiry.
There should be an inquiry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are collapses in cricket, but still.
To me, that one, you couldn't explain that one.
Some of them are.
And watching, I tell you, I was shocked. When I come and see the comfortable Cornwall, I said, what, April Fool, so the commentators play the fool. I couldn't believe that. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
West Indies cricket, even when you look at the averages, we have to say full marks to Ali Kafanaz, topping the batting.
Yeah.
He scored over 600
over
runs,
600 runs.
averaging 63. But when you see that the next person is Darren Bravo.
Darren Bravo.
Yes, the second with 440, averaging 57 years. So it tells you, in fact, the next two after Afanaz are Bravo and Leon Johnson, who had just retired.
Yes.
So it tells you
there's a big void
in West Indies cricket.
man. A big void.
I mean, Ali Afanaz stood out in that tournament.
Stood out.
Yeah. But when you look at it, who else can you talk about really?
Bravo and
Leon Johnson,
a retiree,
second and third in the averages.
So it shows you.
It shows you that
nothing coming up.
Yeah, West Indies cricket is really spot of buzzer, man. I mean,
our first class cricket is
it's poor. I mean, it's very poor. And that is why when men move to the international thing, they struggle. They struggle because if you cannot perform at that level, how are you going to, when you get to high class bowling? You cannot. You cannot. We're still trying to get Gerald George on the line to tell us about football, local football. I think there was a prize giving ceremony as well. Last week.
Some awards given.
There was that thing. Yeah. So we're having problems in getting him. I don't know if he's at some meeting or something.
Yeah, that's unlike Jared.
We normally have him.
Yes.
Unlike him.
Yes.
Normally have him. Maybe we'll get him soon. Maybe we'll have him soon.
So Johnson is going to retire now. Leon Johnson.
He's retired. In fact, I saw him on Sportsmark last night when he. By the way, I heard that Reynolds Harris died. Isn't that Reynolds? He used to play football.
Yes,
was he a prison warder?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard
he died.
Yeah, I heard his death announcement on Q95.
Reynolds Harris was a brilliant footballer.
He was playing the left side.
On the left side.
I remember hearing that name.
Left wing, brilliant fella, man. Reynolds Harris.
Right.
He played some good cricket too,
Harris, was he a prison warder or something?
Prison warder.
Okay.
Worked in the prisons.
All right.
Harris, He was a fairly good cricketer too.
Okay.
But
I knew his name as a footballer.
Yeah, Reynolds Harris. Brilliant for Cumbum here.
Okay.
Yeah, he may have played for the island as well too because he was a brilliant left winger. Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas Razor Blade was a right winger.
Like Jose and Jose.
But Reynolds Harris was.
Is Razor Blade still alive?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't heard from him.
What is it? Something Dublin out his name, right?
Dublin, yes, Dublin.
Was he a Dominican?
I think it was, yes.
I remember they say he had moved to Trinidad or something.
He was Dominican.
Yeah,
our father, a brilliant player.
Yeah,
tremendous speed on the right flank, outside right.
And he had plenty hair, right?
Yeah, plenty hair.
Tall guy.
Tall fella. Yeah. Athletic man. Brilliant on the touchline there, man. Razor Blade.
That was his nickname.
Yeah. And why they call him Razor Blade? He was so sharp on the line.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. He was a brilliant player.
Okay.
Dublin. Yes.
And then you had Jose on the left wing and
Jose,
right wing.
Gifford Toussaint. Yes. So
even when
Reynolds Harris, man.
Reynolds Harris.
Prince Warder, man. Our condolences to his family, man. Yeah.
I heard the announcement. When I was coming there, I heard on Q95 the announcements. I said, "Wow, that must be."
Reynolds Harris, yes. Kind of Desmond Martin and his fellows.
Yes, I think we have Gerald George on the line. Yes, good night. Good night, Gerald.
Good night.
Good evening.
Well, first question. Somebody called, I think it was Fighting Toto, and he said to ask you the question, if the elections coming up soon in Football Association. He wanted to know. I don't know if he's vying for a post.
Yeah, but I said that how many years?
Months,
programs ago.
So when will it be? Tots, are you listening? Tots, you asked the question. Gerald George is answering now. So tell him again, when is the election? Because he wanted to know.
Is this some undercurrent work?
My good friend Emmanuel Guy asked
that is him, Fighting Toto. He just called to ask. He said that to ask him, Gerald George, if the elections coming
up soon. He wants to whip up his own campaign.
He said he has his campaign.
Well, this year's election, I said that from the beginning of the year and stuff. And our AGM is normally in June. So the Constitution gave us the amount of days that we have or weeks that we have to inform the public of the.
So you're well within that period, eh? You're not
of the election. So
notice of elections.
We go by the Constitution and we let the public know.
Okay.
That when the election is, but AGM is scheduled in June.
In June.
Sometime
Okay.
late in June.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So, it's an election year. I've said that from the beginning of the year. It's an election year, so expect a lot of stuff to happen.
So Totes wants to mount his campaign, man.
Emmanuel guy is on the ball. He's always on the ball. He's
always
aware.
on the
He's
ball.
quite aware. So I guess he was teasing his good friend Lockhart Sebastian.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he has a team going on. But Totes, I hope you are listening. So you got your answer. So you can make your move now. Anyway, you didn't call for that about Toti. Tell us what happened last week. We know you had prize giving as well as football.
Yeah. Definitely. We had
awards.
We had the award ceremony last week. Saturday. It was an excellent event in my view, and we had Javid George from the Surgical Office being the Footballer of the Year for 2022. We had Alina George being the Emerging Female Footballer, and Lima Ford being the Promising Young Female Footballer community. These were the most prestigious prizes, along with the best goalkeeper and best defender and best midfielder, best striker, best forward, which came from the two different competitions that we had in the senior men's for the Patrick John Cup and the President's Cup, and also the under 15 tournament. We gave away all those awards last week, and we had some nice entertainment from some of the local artists, including King Trilogy, and we had
Trilogy.
We had Charlena, and we had entertainment from Abia, a young reggae female artist coming up, and also entertainment from Colin XP and her husband, and so it was a nice social event, bringing all the footballers together. Mr. Ron Green was
your featured speaker. Yes.
I think he gave a good account of himself based on the topic we gave him to speak. And we had address from the president, Mr. Glenn Etienne, as well as the minister in the sports, responsible for sports, Mr. Oscar George. I think he also gave a good account of himself and gave some promises that I hope can be fulfilled, including the one that we have been really looking for, which is the engagement of the second generation players. That means that the players coming from the grandmother side, it's the players coming from the mother and father is okay, but we really need to amend legislation to allow our second generation players coming from grandmother, grandfather side.
Well, explain that to people, because
we can get them to represent the country. So we can, when we go to big tournaments, so we can have them to enhance our team in terms of our performances. Because really and truly, the local guys we need the help of the foreign players, and we really need to legislation to be amended for the second generation players.
No, but explain that to people. Explain that in the layman. You said second generation. Tell the public out there what exactly you're referring to.
Well, I just said it. The second generation is the players coming from the grandmother side and the grandfather side. We have, for instance, we have a player we've been looking at for a number of years since Coach Latch was there, and he's from the second generation, and we just cannot get him. It's an issue to get him a passport.
Which country? Where is?
So he's considered a second generation player and not a first generation player where you come from your mother and father.
Parenthood, street.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
From parenthood, your grandparents.
Your grandmother, your grandparents' side. So that the Minister of Sports, he mentioned it, and I was very happy that he mentioned it in his address. And this is something that we have to dialogue, sit down around the table and look at it, because it's very important to get because I mean Grenada, that's how they excel in all their sports. Jamaica, they've been utilizing that on all of us. We have
I remember a couple years ago we had a player of Dominican parentage, and on the other side of the other side was Jamaican. So it was easier for the player to get through the Jamaican side. So we love that player. So we really need to move the legislation up. I mean, some of it, sports tourism. If we're looking at tourism, sports tourism is one of the key areas that we have to really, really tap into and put things in place so we can. Once you have a national team that's winning, if they come and play locally, you will fill the stadium just like West Indies come and fill the stadium.
Position?
You understand? The guy we're talking about is Jack Green. He's a striker.
Where he plays?
He played in Sweden. I think he moved. The last time I tracked him, he had a transfer again, but I can't remember where he transferred to. But we have really been looking at him for the past years.
What division he playing? First, second division in Sweden?
He plays the first division. He's a very nice.
What position? Is he a striker, a linkman, wing?
Striker.
Huh?
Striker.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming back to the award ceremony, it was very, very good. So yeah, that was for the 2022 season. But after that, we had football. Before Saturday, we had football on Friday. Petro-Caribbean Point Michelle, after losing 4 straight matches in their 5th game, they defeated Bombers from Portsmouth. That game took place at the Benjamin Park in Portsmouth. Point Michelle winning that game 5-2. Randolph Pelletier rolling back the years and getting a hat-trick. And Bud Kazimi getting 1. Point Michelle benefited from an own goal as well. And Corbin Paul and Tyreek Joseph scored for Bombers. The defending champions also played on that night. Surgical Surface, they dropped a few points early. They had a shaky start, but they seem to be picking up momentum. They played against Valvoline. We United at the Dubla playing for that game ended 3-1. Sidney Lockhart, Adriel Lawrence, and Shem Abraham getting a goal each for Southeast, and for Valvoline We United, Fabio Drago. This is a young 16-year-old who was selected on the senior national team that played against St. Lucia last weekend. 16-year-old at the Castlebrooke Secondary School. He is the leading goal scorer, so I think he's around 5 or 6 goals going. And this is a player we really need. When we get these players emerging, we really need to nurture the talent and push them forward so that they can become superstars. On Sunday, we had 3 games on Sunday. Connect 767 East Central versus the league leaders Jubla, and the Connect 767 East Central held the league leaders to a 1-1 draw. So the league leaders dropping 2 points after winning their first 3 games. They dropped 2 points, and East Central, as you know, they are the champions of the President Cup. So it's a nice looking team from the Southeast area. Also, we had Promex Harlem United playing against LA Stars. Harlem won that game 2-1. We had a very interesting match. Blue Waters, Buffet State versus Middleham United. Tranquility, Middleham United. Middleham from Cochrane, and they have been undefeated since then. But Buffet State defeated them 3-2. So the point standing as we speak, after last weekend, we have Dubla and Buffet State tied on 10 points after 4 games each. But with a better goal average, Dubla will be in first place and Buffet State in second place, followed by Harlem. After losing their first 2 games, they picked up nicely and they are on 9 points. Middleham United in 4th place with 8 points. Connect 767 is Central on 8 points. Surgical Surface is defending champions in 6th place on 7 points. Valvoline We United, they are on 4 points from 5 games. Petro-Caribbean Point Michelle, after winning their first game last week, they're in 8th place on 3 points. LA Stars on 2 points and Bombers on 2 points. Just some goal difference separating both of them. So the schedule for for this weekend. We know it's a Easter weekend holiday, but the Fridays off. On Saturday, we have Connect 767 East Central taking on Harlem at Tubla, and Petro Caribbean Point Michelle taking on Tranquility Beach, Middleham United at 4 o'clock in a doubleheader at Tubla. On Saturday, Tubla, and then at Benjamin Park at 6 o'clock, Valvoline We United will take on Bombers. So the Connect 767 East Central versus Harlem game at Jubla will be at 4. And then we have again the doubleheader will be at Benjamin Park, 4 o'clock, Point Michelle versus Middleham. And at 6 o'clock, We United versus Bombers. On Sunday, we have Surgical Surface, the defending champions. They will take on the league leaders, Central Cooperative Credit Union, Jubla, at 4 o'clock. This is a very interesting game.
Oh, yes.
And then at 6 o'clock at Jubla, we'll have Blue Waters Buffet State taking on LA Stars. So tight football action this weekend, and we're looking forward after everybody gone through their Good Friday Mass and everything. Football will resume on Thursday and Sunday.
I have a question for you.
We also have, before you give me the question, we also have our women under 20 girls. They will be leaving Ireland on the 12th next week. They're going to participate in the CONCACAF qualifiers for the under 20 girls. That qualifiers will take place in the Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic. So girls will be moving on, and we have some other youth teams, girls and boys in training to move off Ireland later this year.
Yeah, well, things looking very good for football. At least participation looks pretty high, and there's no football on Friday, of course. Okay.
Yeah, no football on Friday.
My question.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question, George, is when will I see, or when we in Dominica will see a Dominican player playing in the MLS?
Well, we have a lot of scouts out there. We have players out there. So it's just a matter of time for a scout to pick up a player, and based on the quality of play, a player can be picked up anytime. You know that, like anytime.
I don't think so. No, I don't agree with you. I mean, say you have to market. You all have to market player or players. It may be a defender, a striker, a link man, a goalkeeper. He has to be marketed. He has to market it.
We've been doing that. We've been marketing our players. We some of the semi-pros have picked up our players, but in the big league, it's easy for a coach to pick up somebody like Odell after the goal is scored in the CONCACAF Champions League. That's why the CONCACAF Champions League, Nations League is very important. So the scouts get to see our players from there. So once you have good talent in those kind of competition, the scout will pick you up any time.
But let me tell you, one thing you have to understand is it's not automatic when you're called on, because you have to get into preparation and to compete with other players. Because I'm looking at consistency with our players. They just concluded game in St. Lucia. It was just very, very negative. I mean, the football was just something else. There was much to be desired.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're quite aware, and that's why the development process is an ongoing one. So I think a player like Odell, even though the young fella I spoke about, the 16-year-old, is a player that needs to be nurtured and give the proper training and dietary and all those things. And a coach can pick them up anytime.
Who to nurture him? Who to nurture him?
Well, it comes from the club in Lovelock. It starts from the club. So remember, all the players we get for our national team, and I keep going over that same thing over and over again. The players comes from the club, and the onus is on the club to prepare the players. So when they reach at a national level, the national head coach doesn't have to to go back down to scratch with them. So if we get good players from the club level, we're good to go. So that's why what we are doing now, the grassroots program, the RTC program, these are very important programs because we are not getting what we expecting to get from the club. So we have to go to the grassroots and the RTC program and put them from 12 years, from 10 years, from 11 years, put them in a program and let them develop to transit into our under 14 boys national team, or under 17 girls national team, or under 20. That is the important thing. So it all boils down to the grassroots and the RTC program.
Right. Okay, Mr. George, thank you very much for your comprehensive report. As usual, we're indebted to you for this update on football.
And I do wish him happy Easter. He's a churchman here as well.
Happy Easter as well.
Yeah, I want to wish everybody happy Easter, especially the football fraternity. Just have a safe and quiet, blessed Easter.
Indeed, right.
To all those listening to us.
Right. Thank you, Gerald George. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, are you aware that this weekend is Carifta weekend?
Yes, we know, Dominica. Well, we expect Mr. White to next week to tell us about what happened. They went to the Bahamas. Yeah.
This week is Carifta. This Easter weekend is Carifta.
Well, we expect Jamaica to dominate that, eh?
No. What about Dominica? With Dominica contingent?
They left. I think the president went. Mr. White is there, and I think.
No, but at least sports club should have something on them, you know.
Well,
Today, talk about the athletes.
Six of them went. Well, when we asked Godwin Dossett, who is the coach, to join us, it's always a problem.
He's not forthcoming.
Yeah, and he's the coach. Yeah. So next week, we will ask Mr. White to tell us what happened over there.
Well, a couple of people trying to reach us, though.
Yeah. But you have a vice president in the association. What I'm saying is that we should be able to know who are the athletes, what are the events, what are the chances of who making the final, what you believe. That's what I wanted to hear.
Well, they left already, so next week.
No, but you have a vice president. The vice president could
anyway, Lobby, hold on. Ozzy, we have with us
the vice president.
We have with us the new elected vice president of the West Indies, Cricket West Indies, yes. Mr. Azim Bazarat. And I want to say good night to you, my brother. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Sebastian, and good night to all of Dominica.
Well, yes, and my co-hosts are Ozzy Lewis and Emmanuel Loblack. And all of Dominica is listening to you, and all the diaspora. You have a big listenership listening to you right now.
Okay, that's great.
Right. First thing I want to do, although I've done it privately, I want to do it publicly now. I want to congratulate you on being elected Cricket West Indies Vice President. I want to do that now publicly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Sebastian. Your sentiments is well appreciated, and I'm quite sure that, I will try to do justice to the job.
Right. Now, you're taking over now the West Indies cricket at a time when West Indies cricket is struggling and we haven't been doing too well. How do you and Mr. Kisha Shallow, how do you expect to turn that around? Tell our listeners.
Well, there's a lot of expectations from this new president and vice president that was recently elected. We cannot say at this time, Mr. Sebastian, that we are going to wave a magic wand and turn around West Indies cricket immediately.
Mm-hmm.
However, we think that what we can do is to start putting things in place so that the turnaround of West Indies cricket can commence immediately. Myself as vice president and Dr. Shallow as president, I don't think that we will be able to do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
What we need is that we need support, help from all stakeholders in West Indies cricket. Every one of us must come on board. We must support each other. We must provide suggestions and ideas that you have in your mind. And no ideas and suggestions is not worthy of giving it a thought.
Mm-hmm.
But if all of us put our heads together, I am quite sure that West Indies cricket can see a turnaround in the not too distant future. But I want to repeat that every single West Indian, every single one of us who love West Indies cricket have a contribution to make, and we feel that if every one of us is on board, that turnaround is not far away.
Yes, Mr. Bazarat, Ozzy Lewis here, and what I want to find out from you is what issues you think deserve top priority that you would tackle at this juncture in West Indies cricket? What issues you think require immediate, if not immediate, tackling for the West Indies cricket?
Look, we have players who have been participating in our regional tournament. We have a team that have been campaigning at the international level. What I feel is that is needed immediately. I think that what we have to do is to try and get all the players on one page. We must be able to try to provide to the world and have our best players playing together. Recently, there would have been some tours when players made themselves unavailable. I want you to just imagine that if we have Evan Lewis, Shimron Hetmeyer, Nicholas Puran, Solin Narain, Shay Hope, just 5 people I call it, Andre Russell, 6 persons I call. And you can imagine if we have all those 6 people playing in the longer format of the game. If we have all of them playing in the 50-over game, and if we have all of them playing in the T20 format, what a formidable team that could be, that can challenge and compete against any team in the world. There was a report that was done that was submitted to Cricket West Indies, I think about 3 months ago, which I think Brian Lara sat on it, and together with Mickey Arthur, and I think the judge name was Johnson or Jackson, I can't remember his name immediately.
Yeah.
But there was a report that was submitted by that 3-man committee after the West Indies exited the last T20 World Cup. And in that report, they had recommended that the cricket board, together with management, have a sit-down, have a dialogue with all the players on the who are playing for West Indies at this time, or who are on the fringe of playing for West Indies. And I think that is very, very important in reaching out to the players and having this dialogue. And let us engage the players, all the players, as I said, every single one of them. Let us reach out to them. Let us have this dialogue. Because they love West Indies cricket just as I love West Indies cricket. And just as you love West Indies cricket. And I think having this dialogue and trying to get every player on the same page as management and as the board of directors, I think that will be a starting point for us to see some turnaround.
Yes, you mentioned a name there, Evan Lewis. I know he doesn't live far from you down south. I haven't heard him playing cricket. I don't know if he's playing local in Trinidad now. Somebody like that. You, particularly now as vice president, have you been able to speak to him recently?
Well, I can tell you at this time, Mr. Sebastian, that Evan is playing cricket for his club. In our domestic league. He played some red ball cricket, and he also, at this time, the white ball 50-over tournament is in progress, and he is playing. Only today, I would have, my secretary would have made contact with him to come in and have a sit-down meeting with me.
Right.
So definitely during the course of next week, I expect to see Evan and speak to Evan and see where he is and in terms of where his head is to represent West Indies. I think Evan have a contribution to make. He's one of the most explosive opening batsmen in world cricket.
Correct.
And I think we must be able to talk to him and let him know, what a significant contribution he can make to West Indies cricket at this point in time.
And Simran Hetmeyer is another player. Of late, he has been found to be all over the place. That is another player. Do you all intend sitting down with him again as well? Simran Hetmeyer.
Well, as I said before, in the report that was submitted by the three-man committee, they had suggested that we sit and speak to all the players, get them in a retreat sort of environment, and let us have this dialogue. Because Evan is from Trinidad, I can sit down and speak to Evan and speak to Sunil and so on. But I think the other players from across the Caribbean, we have to get them in one place and sort of have this discussion with them. It is something that I will be asking for, and I will be making reference to this three-man committee. I've already spoken to the president about this. He himself is very much interested in this, in having this dialogue with the players. And I'm quite sure that we are going to reach somewhere after this dialogue is completed.
Well, the World Cup matches, West Indies have now to go and qualify. Now the matches are soon, June 14th. So you all don't have much time to really get these guys together, have a chat, because West Indies cannot afford now not to qualify for the World Cup in October.
Yeah, I am in full agreement with you, Mr. Sebastian. As I said before, only today my secretary will have contacted Evan, and he indicated that he will come in. So I'm looking, as I said, before the end of next week, I will be hoping that I'll see him and we'll have a chat with him. And I'm quite sure that after the discussion, Evan will make himself available, and let us hope that that we get these players. It is important for us to get these players coming back and representing West Indies and making themselves available also for the different formats that we have in the Caribbean.
Mr. Basil, I'll say this again here. As you yourself mentioned, there seems to be some difficulty in getting the best West Indies players together to represent West Indies. What do you think is the burning issue which causes that to have more time, where you cannot get the best West Indies team to put on the pack for any one tournament? What is the burning problem that you think permeates through the players themselves?
Well, it will be difficult for I to point my finger at any particular issue. I think in some instances it's because of the different tournaments around the world, T20 tournaments, and which these players are contracted to. We must also take into consideration that when these tournaments are placed on the agenda and they would have made contact with our players, our players may not be aware of any particular tour coming up and so on. And all of us want to see our players have a decent living. Cricket is really only 15 years of their life. They have to play cricket at a professional level. That's what I have. So I wouldn't blame, and I will not blame anyone for trying to secure their livelihood after cricket. And if these players have to do it, well, they have to do it. We cannot be angry with them. But I'm not aware if anybody had any discussion with any particular player prior to what I'm speaking about now. But with this administration, I think it is important for us to reach out and to invite them and sort of get them to come on board with us. All of us, as I said before, and I want to repeat again, all of us love West Indies cricket. We want to see West Indies cricket at the pinnacle of world cricket. And it starts with the first step. And the first set of dialogue that people want to put in place and engage the players. The players are the important ingredient in this. And we must be able to show respect to the players and show the players that, they are the ones who we depend on to take away all the pain from the people of the Caribbean. It is not easy, Mr. Sebastian, that when West Indies lose a cricket game, the pain that people go through across the Caribbean is not easy to be erased immediately.
I know.
I have had life experience. As during my working days, I would have met a gentleman in the morning, very early in the morning, and the gentleman was looking very sad. So I happened to ask him, why is it he's looking so? What happened? He said, boss man, last night I wake up whole night and look at cricket, and West Indies lose the game. So that resonated with me, as a young man, Mr. Sebastian, and I know what it takes to feel when West Indies lose a game. And from that, the passion that I generated, if that gentleman could have that feeling and that pain, all of us, all West Indians are supposed to feel that way when West Indies lose a game. So the players must be aware of this, and they have to, play for the people of the Caribbean and for the people who love West Indies cricket and all those who really want to see West Indies cricket move forward.
Question.
Go on.
Do you think that we have the right personnel in charge of our cricket, our coaching staff? Do you think there should be an overhaul? Because I am not satisfied with what I am seeing right now. Number one, I have seen games, players are just not fit. Players they look overweight. Number two, I'm looking at, we cannot negotiate fast bowling anymore. What has happened to us in the region? They're not producing fast bowlers anymore. Even in terms of the batting coach, do we have the right batting coach?
Well, go on, Azim. Answer the question here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, recently, an advertisement went out for the hiring of the head coach for both red ball and white ball cricket. At this stage, the coaching staff are interim. So we are hoping that very shortly that we are going to hire and take on the head coach for both red ball and white ball. And let us hope that from there, that we have the best people selected who have applied, and we are going to see some improvement. There may be some deficiencies in some of the batsmen, but I am still saying, and I have called some names, and the names that I have called, I think they can compete and they play in any team. They can compete against any international team in the world. There are some signs that we have seen in terms of fast bowlers and so on. And I want to agree, we are not producing the quality of fast bowlers that we produced in the past. But we have to do something. I think it is important for the different territorial boards. I myself being the president of a territorial board, we must put some programs in place to sort of unearth some new talent. In Trinidad and Tobago, I can safely tell you that we have some programs where we are hoping that we are going to unearth some batsmen and some bowlers. But one of the things, too, that we have to take into serious consideration is that we must be able to produce the quality of pitches that will encourage fast bowling in the Caribbean. And also in your days, Mr. Sebastian, I'm quite sure that you would have, on evenings when you go to practice, you will be facing the rubber cork ball on the concrete strip and so on.
Correct.
Now,
very correct.
Now players don't want to bat on the concrete strip, because to me, in my days when I used to play, I bat in the concrete strip and without helmet.
Yeah.
And it is important for us. It is important for us now to sort of bring back those days and let batsmen bat on the concrete strip with the rubber cork balls. And those rubber cork balls just to fly at you, and you have to play. You must learn to play. If you can bat on those concrete strips with ball flying at you and without helmet in those days, and people hardly used to get it. So I think it is important for us that we must be able to develop in our batsmen and players, to be brave, to be resilient, and also to be speaking to yourself while you're at the wicket, so that you're talking to yourself and you're telling yourself you have to remain outside here, because if you're not in the middle, you cannot score runs.
Correct.
So bravery is important, and you must have the belly to stand up against any bowlers, in the world.
You mentioned about the best candidate for the coach. The last president had this policy about West Indian first. What is the policy now in terms of the advertisement that has gone out for the white ball and the red ball coach?
Well, as far as I know, I can't make any call, but as far as I know, the advertisement went out, and the people who apply, I think they will be given a fair chance in the interview. And I'm quite sure that at the end of the interview, I haven't heard our president indicate anything about what the last president had said, but I think that what the panel will be looking for, and what the board will be looking for, is that to make the best coach available for our cricket.
I know the policy, but I wanted to explain to people the procedure when matches, when countries are allocated matches. Just give the process a little bit, not a long thing, but just tell listeners out there how matches are allocated to different countries.
But within recent times, there may be some changes to the policy and the guidelines and so on. What happened is that the management of West Indies cricket will look at the different tours and look to see when last a territory would have hosted matches and so on. What happened is that we know in the Caribbean since 2007, when the World Cup took place here, there was a number of new venues that was constructed by the governments of the different islands. So West Indies Cricket Board, Cricket West Indies, want to ensure that sometime during the course of a year, that all territory, all grounds in the Caribbean, first class and international grounds, are given a match to host. I know for a fact, what I can tell you, Mr. Sebastian, is that India, I will be playing most likely the first test match on the tour of the Caribbean in 2023 in Dominica.
Well, say that again, say that again, say that again, say that again. People listening.
Yeah, it is more than likely that the first test match between West Indies and India will be played in Dominica.
Okay.
The last time a test match that was played there, I think it was against Bangladesh.
You're right. Or Zimbabwe, I think. I can't remember. One of them, anyhow.
Yeah. And the turnout of spectators at the venue was extremely encouraging. So I think this decision still has to be ratified by the board. And I think that when this is done, I think Dominica will be able to sort of win in the race in getting this first test match. And then we look at but it is very important that we look at patrons coming to the game, and if a territory or have a number of patrons coming, it shows that you are interested in the cricket, and the board will definitely look at things like that to ensure that that territory is treated well in terms of hosting international matches. And we also look at, based on the report from pitches and so on, if the pitch gets good ratings from match referees, you tend to go back there the next year. There's a number of really criteria that is used to award matches to the different venues.
Thank you for that. Well, I'm sure Dominican will be happy because, Dominican is the place where the grounds are always filled and most spectators come to watch. So I'm happy that, I don't want to put you under pressure, but most people would think that Alec Afanaza Dominican will be in the first test team. So sometime in July, we expect to see him playing at the Windsor Park.
Mr. Bazarat, one more point I want to raise myself. This whole concept and matter of no objection certificates, that teams, individuals rather, opting to play the franchise cricket while their country, they don't represent their country, they choose to play franchise cricket for obvious reasons. But then the Cricket West Indies hierarchy, the board, they have something called no objection certificates, which you can use, I would gather, to object to them playing while there is the country being engaged to play franchise cricket. How strong is the policy of no objection certificates to the players? Do you use that at all?
Yeah. Just recently, I remember that this discussion came up at a meeting, and we have to be very careful how we object to players participating in the different franchises around the world. What we could be doing there too is that we will not be able to may not be able to do that, because what we'll be doing is that we will be blocking that player from plying his trade.
Yeah, a livelihood issue, yes.
And exactly.
Livelihood issue.
We we have to be careful. We have to be careful how we do that, because I think in previous incarnations that West Indies Cricket Board had lost a couple of cases, sometimes in the early 2000s when that issue came up. And, West Indies Cricket Board had to pay a lot of money to players who would have win cases against West Indies Board. I think Ramnaresh Sawan would have been one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sawan case, yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's true.
It is a very difficult situation, really, because you're really challenging the guy's right to his livelihood. It's very difficult. It's no objection certificate.
Yeah, Asim, let me ask you, when the last president, they had changed the whole selection structure, and where now they went away from the 3 or 4 selectors and had this one selector. Do you think that system worked properly? And you, as the new vice president now, do you all intend making changes to that policy?
That will have to be discussed. We will also have to look at the finances of the board, because hiring new people will mean an increase in expenditure. So I think what will happen is that we will look at it. I think it is something that we should look at. It's not only you have raised that issue with me at this time, Mr. Sebastian, but other people have concern about that.
All right.
That we feel that there should be more selectors, but it will be very difficult for I at this stage to make an announcement on that. But I know for sure that it is a discussion that will take place, and to engage other people across the Caribbean, who would have want to contribute to West Indies cricket and who will want to serve. As you said, I know for a fact that previously there used to be 4 selectors, and the coach used to be selecting the different teams. And now with the white ball and red ball, I'm not sure whether they will want to have different selectors for red ball and different selectors for white ball. So it's something that a dialogue could take place and discussion, and we can see if we can root it up once more for 4 selectors.
Okay. Well, anyway, my brother, thank you so much for agreeing to have this interview tonight. I am sure Dominicans will be happy that you mentioned that the test in July, first one against India, will be played in Dominica.
Most likely.
I expect it to be. And most listeners, we have listeners all around the world, and I am sure that at some time again, you will gladly join us on this program. And I want to say thank you very much, and have a happy Easter this weekend.
Thank you very much, and it was my pleasure to be on your program, Mr. Sebastian, and I look forward to joining you again.
Thanks. We'll talk. Anyhow, we'll talk. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that was Azim Bazarat, the vice president, newly elected vice president of Cricket West Indies, who said on the program tonight that Dominica hopefully will have the test match against India, the first one in July against India. We have a call on the line. Good night. Hello? Hello?
I see you focus on what Harris.
We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you at all.
I see you focus on what Harris.
You
ask about Harris.
About whom?
Harris.
We spoke of Rebel Harris who died, right?
Yeah, but he was a good athlete.
Also.
Yeah. After his position. 200 meters and 100 meters.
High jump.
Well, you have him correct. So he was.
Was that Reynolds Harris?
Yeah.
Was a high jumper.
Very good athlete. Yes, very good athlete.
I can't remember.
Well, I'm telling you, I could remember that. Compomere.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Sure. Gentlemen.
Yes.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
Lobby,
yes, but Harris. First of all, he was a very good athlete, not only athlete, good distance runner, and endurance individual he could run for maybe 2 hours on the football field. Very all-round athlete, strong guy. I mean, I was in the days of Windsor Park. Was in those days all roads the young boys led to the Windsor Park. It's like when Ozzy talk about Newton Savannah, all related to Newton Savannah. That was the Windsor Park. And you look at this, in those, this Combermere was not just football and cricket, but athletics, they were very strong also in track and field.
Lobby, hold on. We have a call on the line. Good night. Good night. Caller gone.
Hello?
Yeah, he was from Virgin Lane, you know. My area, Virgin Lane.
He was from Virgin
Right,
Lane.
right,
Virgin
Lane.
Yes.
I know him as a little boy.
Yes.
He and the Reed brothers.
Yes.
Right, correct.
He and who brothers?
Huh?
The Reed brothers?
I say he and the Reed brothers, the three Reed brothers, Alex Reed and Philip Reed.
The Reed
and
brothers,
Joe Reed.
yes.
They're from Virgin Lane.
Oh, the Reed brothers was from Virgin Lane as well?
Yeah.
I thought they were from Pottersville.
No, that is where I know them in the 50s when I was I know them from since 1949. Living in Virgin Lane. Where Joe used to live there. Joe used to stock from there. The one used to call that.
Oh, Joe, yeah, I know Joe very well, man.
Where used to live in Virgin Lane. That same house he was up.
Oh, I see, yes, Virgin Lane. Okay. Yeah, man, I know Joe. I remember Joe very well.
Well, the house he was living in, that is where Reed and them was up.
Okay, I thought.
And after they went to Goodwill.
They went to Goodwill afterwards, the Reed brothers. Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Reed, Joe Reed, and Philip Reed.
Sebastian.
Hold on, we have another caller. Good night.
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello?
Good night, we're hearing you.
Okay. What's happening, boys? Okay?
Yeah. Babs, yes.
Two things. First of all, let me send condolences to the family of Bernard Harris.
Yeah.
Better known as Atto Boy.
Right. That's right. It's called Atto Boy. Yes.
Boy.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a very good football player.
Great footballer, left wing guy. Yes.
On the left. He used to play on the left wing, I think.
Left wing.
Correct. And then he was a prison officer. You know, condolences to him. Now,
also on the left, I'm spinner. Cricketer too, you know, spinner.
You spoke about diaspora people coming to help. You had this fellow there on the Football Association saying how they want people of the first generation and second generation. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, but I experienced a situation. My brother, you know, son, you know, his son was a football coach in America, from Canada. But his daughter wanted to play for Dominica. Okay? And the women thing. And then he had difficulty in getting a passport. He never got it. As a matter of fact, I went and spoke to the Minister of Immigration and whatnot because the boy wanted his daughter to play for Dominica. But his mother is Jamaican, and I think Jamaica after. Okay? So it's a hell of a situation in Dominica.
Well, as you heard
the
from...
last thing I want to say is I got news recently that there's our famous Soppy Eli fast bowler.
Vivian Eli, Soppy.
Admitted to a nursing home in England.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Everybody remembers Soppy Eli.
His real name was Vivian Eli, Soppy.
Bowler, who I remember, I don't know if all they would remember, he played for Winwood, I think.
I remember he played for, yes.
And then I remember one match.
1959 or so there.
I can remember how many overs he bowled in Grenada for Dominica to win the match. A fast bowler. Non-stop.
Yeah, Soppy.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember Soppy's days, of course, man. He made it in the islands. He was a bowler, could bowl very long spells for a fast bowler. He could bowl 10 over spells, bowl for a whole session. His real name was Vivian Eli. They call him Soppy. He made the Wheeler Islands team in 59, the year before I played for Dominica. So I knew him very well. Yeah, in your days, Babs. I know you had your century in 58 in inter-school stuff.
You had the daughter that used to work in the ministry. You know, right?
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
So, okay. So you mentioned...
and before I leave, I think it was a good... discussion you had with the vice president of the West Indies cricket.
Yeah.
Let's hope that they will be able to change things around as he suggested. And I agree with him that everybody must be on board if they have to do this.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right?
Thank you, Babs. Thank you.
Okay, Henry Babs. Thank you.
You know, as we speak, the Cricket Association is having their drafted for the next Dream 11, which will be from May 28th to June 6th. Yeah. They have the new draft. So the next Dream 11 will be next month. I think
the boy, Jim Boy, is going to be here.
Well, they at the names are at the thing. So we will know the names of all the teams tomorrow. And by the way, the Cricket Association starts the 2-day league this weekend. Yeah. The first match is Mariner against Grand Bay. That will be at the Botanic Gardens this weekend.
You said last weekend,
no, there was a problem. The match
didn't come off then.
The umpires, there were no umpires, and there was some.
I hear they're making an appeal to drive to recruit umpires.
Well, that has been a problem ever
years,
since.
Yes.
Ever since. Yeah. So I think we'll take a break now. We'll take a break now, Lobby.
Okay, after. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, you ever get a compliment like that? Ubel come Maribel. Well, Maribel is giving it away. No, not your neighbor Maribel. I'm talking about the line of Maribel products at AC Shillingford and Company Limited. And yes, you can win a rice cooker. Just mix and match any 5 Maribel products, be it pasta, lasagna, oil, tuna, jasmine and parboiled rice, mac and cheese, pet rice, or mackerel. To qualify, simply write your name, address, telephone number at the back of your receipt of purchase and place it in the box provided at any ACS location. ACS Downtown on King George V Street, High Street, and Pottersville. Call us at 275-3428 or visit us at the main branch on King George V Street to place your bulk orders. The draw takes place on Friday, 14th April 2023. Imagine belle, eat well with ACS and Maribel.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Hello, you ever get a compliment like that? Ubel come Maribel. Well, Maribel is giving it away. No, not your neighbor Maribel. I'm talking about the line of Maribel products at AC Shillingford and Company Limited. And yes, you can win a rice cooker. Just mix and match any 5 Maribel products, be it pasta, lasagna, oil, tuna, jasmine and parboiled rice, mac and cheese, pet rice, or mackerel. To qualify, simply write your name, address, telephone number at the back of your receipt of purchase and place it in the box provided at any ACS location. ACS Downtown on King George V Street, High Street, and Pottersville. Call us at 275-3428 or visit us at the main branch on King George V Street to place your bulk orders. The draw takes place on Friday, 14th April 2023. Imagine belle, eat well with ACS and Maribel.
Yes, welcome back to Sports Wrap. We're on the home stretch. There's about 19 minutes left in this program. It's now 19 minutes to 8 o'clock. And of course, cricket always dominates. Yeah. We probably have to look a bit at the Windward Islands team and see the caliber of players they have today and probably compare that team with past teams in your days, Lockhart.
Well,
a little time on the Windward Islands. Let's spend a little time on the Windward Islands team. The team that came second in this year's tournament, and the team in your days played such great cricket.
Well, in 80-23, we came second both times there as well.
Right.
80-20. One did split, the win was Leeward. You remember? Common Island was up to 81.
Right, you're split.
So we split, but we had a powerful team. I mean, remember myself, Will Slack, Shane Julian, Irvin Shillingford, Shane Julian, Will Slack, myself and Lance John. Sometimes it was Linton Lewis at my partner.
Linton,
you had Zaidi Norbert Phillip, Ignatius Cadet, Winston Davis. Grayson didn't play when we played. No, Grayson wasn't. One win was only was. No, Grayson wasn't with the win was.
He had left already.
He had gone all the way to Canada.
We had gone
but
to Canada.
Remember, it was Philip and Davis.
Yes.
Then you had Hines and Kentish.
Yes.
Four bowlers, yeah.
Powerful lineup.
We beat the mighty Barbados in Barbados. We beat them in Barbados. We beat them in St. Lucia. It was I remember that well.
How many years you actually played first class cricket?
About 18 years. Yeah.
18 years?
Yes. Yeah. But we had a powerful team out here. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, our bowling, Zaidi and Davis, Winston Davis was a powerful.
Winston was a powerful fast bowler.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question now. Winston Davis or Grayson Shillingford, who was a more potent fast bowler?
That is a
Don't
good
use
question.
your bias. Just give me a cricket answer.
Boy, I'm thinking.
I said I'm going to ask you that question.
Yeah, let's look at it in terms of real pace. I would probably put both of them around the same in terms of pace. But maybe you might have to give Davis the edge, Winston Davis. You probably have to give him the edge.
I would think so.
Davis was a hell of a bowler, man. I mean, Davis was a hell of a
Oh,
bowler.
yes, Winston Davis was.
Yeah.
Oh, when he came on his scene,
He was a hell
It's
of
good
a
to
bowler.
watch their figures, though. You know?
Well, Davis had a good record, and he didn't play many matches, as you know. For similarly, Grayson didn't play too many matches.
No, he didn't play too
Grayson
many.
played 69 couple, and then he played in 71 against India. I think he played the first test, right?
Grayson.
Yeah, I think he played in Trinidad.
He played in 69, Grayson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, in England.
He went to England.
Yes, and then he played
Played
against
71
India.
against India.
He played against India.
Yes.
I don't think he played after that.
I don't think he played after
I
that.
don't think he played after that.
His career was short.
Yeah, but Davis played a few, but Winston Davis was a hell of a bowler. I mean, really. You remember he had won in a World Cup, 7 wickets for
That is
51.
right, the World Cup.
I think Winston Davis.
Winston Davis is a more potent bowler.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Well, we must say St. Val has just joined us, and I guess he want to tell us about his activity this
St.
weekend.
Val is with us now, yes.
Yeah, tell us about his activity.
He's considered to be one of Dominica's main patriots, yeah?
Yes.
You mustn't forget that.
Yeah, you want to tell us about his activity this weekend?
Yes, so...
St. Val, you can go ahead.
St. Val, tell us all about Sunday, big day at St. Joseph. Let us know what's happening.
Oh, yes, Sibo, Ozzy, Lambe, and to the listeners of Q95, I'm very, very excited tonight. And just while I was at Q, I get another exciting news again. That hopefully Dominica will be hosting the test match. And you know that excites me very much. Well, on Sunday, Q95, Team Dominica, United Workers' Party, will be in St. Joseph. The St. Joseph Constituency Association will be hosting a Punch and Sauce and Cricket Festival. Well, a sports festival, but dominated by cricket. We'll be having dominoes, cards, draft. There'll be also a bouncing castle for the children. It will be a whole family affair. So everybody, I'm inviting everybody to St. Joseph on Sunday. We'll be having commentaries. Your renowned commentator, Ozzy Luis, Lockhart Sebastian will be here. Myself, Simon Vidal. Remember, Ted DeLeaf used to call him Style Vidal.
Simon Vidal, man.
Yes, will be one of the commentators. We'll be having qualified.
Feels like I can still do that now. Sure.
Oh, yeah. You can. Yeah, we'll be having.
No, I see. Maybe sure Simon can do that now.
I speak with him. I spoke with him already, Sibo.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be having qualified.
I hope so.
We'll be having qualified umpires in Mr. Nicholas George and Cuthbert from the Valley.
Well, the umpire, Mr. Nicholas was a qualified umpire.
Was a qualified umpire, yeah, and also Cuthbert George is a national umpire, and as I say,
Ozzy. George or John Baptist?
From the Valley.
Not George. Is sure Cuthbert is not John Baptist?
Cuthbert George is Joseph. Anyway, Cuthbert.
Yeah. Maybe you might be right. Might be Joseph. Yeah.
Cuthbert Joseph, I believe, whatever his surname is. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to have eight teams participating. The 4 zones, because the United Workers' Party 21 constituencies is divided into 4 zones. We have 4 zones. Then we have Team Dominica, which are the candidates. We're hoping to have 2 teams from the Kalinago territory. And
the candidates going to have 1 team for themselves?
Their team, Team Dominica, yeah. The candidates or their representative.
That's very
interesting indeed.
Yes. The Dominica Softball Association has indicated their willingness to participate.
Hold on, Sedval, hold it. We have a caller. Good night.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Concerning Mr. Harris, I think you were left out a couple of things.
Well, go on, tell us.
He also played for Saints football team.
Okay.
And then he was also a forest guard after he left the prison.
Okay.
When he was transferred to the forestry division.
Mm-hmm.
And the morning before he got married in June of 1963, he ran a race and he won it. Okay. I think it was a 1,500 mile.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you.
He's a very all-round sportsman, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Yes, so the place to be on Easter Sunday is in St. Joseph. So I'm inviting everybody, wherever you are in Dominica, make sure you come to St. Joseph and have a fun day.
Rollicking time.
Yes. Watching cricket, you can play dominoes, you can play draft, and then just interact with your friends, socialize with your friends. So to thank Q95 and Sports Rap for giving me the opportunity to promote our activity, Sunday activity.
Yeah. Sunday, 10:30, 11 o'clock. All roads lead to St. Joseph.
Lobby, will you be there in spirit, Lobby?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'll be there in spirit for sure.
Okay.
Lobby will be giving comments in the spirit.
We have another caller. Good night.
Yes.
If I was there, I would be playing.
Good night.
Good night, Silo.
Hey, good night. Yes.
Good night. Yes, I want to share some information. That's Cedric Harris.
Okay, thanks. That's Cedric Harris. Go ahead.
Yes. Last evening, the Pioneers Athletic Club held its General Assembly, and there was a new executive put in place, and the new executives with outside. We have President Cedric Harris, Vice President Kearney Jaja, Secretary Nisa Joseph, Assistant Secretary Lisa DeFreitas, Treasurer Don Oscar, and we have board members Vernice Duran and Sanjay John Baptist. Also, we have our captain, male captain India White, female captain Miralda Thomas, and we have our juvenile captain Angelic Nanaviv. I also want to go on record to just say my condolences goes out to the family of the Harrises. That's my cousin who passed on, and I know he fought a good fight. I mean, he was sick for a while, so I mean, it was just in common. But Archie Boy did a lot for sports in Dominica, mainly number of areas, football, cricket, athletics. May his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right,
Okay.
Thank you,
man. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
We have another caller again. Yes, hello, Sports Rap. Hello. Sports Rap.
Greetings, Your Honor.
Greetings. Sounds like Bob Marley.
Big up.
My question
is for San Valdo.
Yes. What's that?
He has a question for San Val.
Yes,
Go on.
Yeah, what I want to ask him, I hear him say inviting everybody. So I want to ask him if including the labor rights, because the politics business like to divide people. So I hope the invitation going out to labor rights, freedomites, UWPites, Papiites, everybody. Right, Sanval?
Yes, Bob Marley, definitely we have done that. There are some labor rights.
Yeah, because sometimes that spell where you a red cannot feel talking to blue, or blue can this time we finishing that. So that's why I call to make sure you invite everybody, labor rights, freedomites, UW, everybody, one Dominica, Team Dominica.
Oh yes, that's how it's going to be. I have already spoken to some labor rights who have indicated that they will be. And let me tell you something, Bob Marley. We intend to make that annual event. And next year, I'm going to invite a labor team, because next year, Skerrit won't be the prime minister. And then we have to unite. We have a lot of work to do, uniting Dominica after Skerrit. After Skerrit.
Yes,
so I want a Labour Party team to also participate next year.
Yeah, that's right. That's what. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah,
I feel good about that because long time we need to be on the ground with the people, interact with the people, so we could break that division.
So, Bob Marley, are you going to make it, Bob Marley?
No, sir. I can't make it.
You can't make it.
It has no excuse for breaking the law. Ignorance is not an excuse. I know you know that, but I ain't going to make no excuse, but I wouldn't be able to make it, unfortunately, because it's Sunday. I have some challenges right now.
Okay.
You are in Dominica now?
You're in Dominica?
Are you in Dominica?
No. I'm in Georgia right now.
You're not here, man, so it's understandable.
No.
Yeah.
No, anytime I was in Dominica, you know, I would have a team.
Yes. You
I
have a
would
team.
set up one of the Salisbury team.
So next year, hopefully, Bob Marley, you will be here next year. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, yes, for sure.
The Bob Marley team, of course.
Okay, right, all right.
Right. Bob Marley team here.
Yeah, that's a promise. A promise is at death.
Right.
A promise is a comfort, but my promise is at death.
Yeah, hold you to your promise. Hold you to it.
Thank you.
All right, then.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good. It's 7:53. So Sunday, all roads lead to St. Joseph, Sebastian.
Yeah.
You're from Collioure, so
I'll be there. I usually go to church first, and I'll probably join afterward. Or so church in Collioure is 10:30 on Sunday, so I'll definitely will be there Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I will be there myself there from 11 o'clock. Like I said, things looks like it will be a good day in Prospect.
Yeah, that's a good way. It's nice to, it's everybody together and people having fun, play some cricket, play some dominoes.
Yeah, we have another caller. Yes, caller. Hello.
Good night.
Hey, Simo.
Yes.
That question to you here. Everybody keeps talking about Athens. What about Hodge? No, everybody forget Hodge.
So when you say forget him, how? Why you say that? In what sense?
Because Hodge is performing just as well as Athens.
That's not correct. No, don't really say that. That's not true. That's not true.
I wouldn't say that's correct.
No, that's not correct. Because let's be honest.
But
hold on.
He's an all-rounder.
Listen, if you look at the averages, Cavan only averaged 40-something this year. Right?
Okay.
Athens averaging 60-something. So you can't say he's performing.
Big difference.
Big difference in terms of average. Yeah, 40-something average.
Okay, so what about his bowling ability?
Well, he can bowl, but it's not about he's a batsman. He's a batsman who can do some bowling. Yeah. His strength is batting. So, and when you bat at number 3, he's batting at number 3. So it's not correct to say he's doing as well at Athens. It's not correct.
Okay, I understand that, but Roy Sanchez is a bowler, a batsman that could bowl, and he's always on there.
And he what?
And he's always on the West Indies team.
Well, we are not saying that Che should be on the West Indies team. We're not saying that at all. We're not saying they picked him, but we're not saying he should be there. We're not saying.
Che should be more all-rounder than Kevin Hall.
Well, because Che has over 80-something.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah. Not really correct. I mean, to say he's doing well at Athens, not really correct. Yeah. We have another caller? Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, Senval, so Sunday, you'll have your big day and your big organization.
Well, we'll Slack this guy. Is he alive still?
Slack died. He collapsed on the field. Slack died on the field, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, here what happened. Will Slack had collapsed once, sometime in Africa, so he played. So he went to doctor. He collapsed again in England. And then the third time, he collapsed right in the field and died. Yeah. In some match, yeah.
All the other guys, all of the Grenadian batsmen.
Shane Julian. Well, he had an unfortunate demise.
He died too?
Yeah, Shane died. Well, we don't want to say what happened, how he died. But it was an unfortunate demise. Yeah, Shane Julian died early. I mean, in fact, when I got the news the day, I was stunned, honestly. What? Yeah, but Shane died. Shane died about 20-something. Yeah. Shane died then.
Lovely batsman.
I always give the story in Trinidad. You remember that match that we scored 380 to win on the last day?
Yeah.
I remember, in fact, the night before, we were not even thinking that we were going to. We were just looking for a draw. So I remember the morning.
Tantimul?
No, it wasn't the Tantimul. Tantimul was the Common Islands.
Islands, yes,
Yeah, when
yes,
we had
yes.
this. But we won that game, Tantimul.
Oh, yes,
We had
yes.
never forgot when Larry Gomes, El Camino Willett hit Imtiaz Ali towards Big Bookie, and Larry Gomes caught the ball, leaning on the fence.
Yeah,
That was 6 runs, the umpire gave him out.
Yes.
We won that game. It wasn't a tie game. We won that game.
Yes, yes.
Those days it was home umpires.
Right,
But I remember that clearly.
Yeah.
That when Willett hit that ball, it was clearly
6 runs.
6.
Yeah.
And Larry Gomes caught the ball,
On the fence.
leaning on the fence,
Yeah,
and they gave him out caught.
That's 6.
So we won that game.
Yeah.
But the match in Trinidad was 82. When Trinidad gave a free 84, what's in them? Theo Coffey was the captain. So I remember the morning, in fact, I remember that night before, some of us, we just decided we were going to play for a draw. I remember it was a Calypso tent, and I remember going that night. So the next day, when we had our team meeting, we said, well, 384 runs, a lot of runs, not many people, team could score that.
4th inning.
Yeah, so I remember Lance and I opened, and then we put in a partnership of 96, and Lance got out on the stroke of lunch. Luncheon. So at lunchtime, I remember I went in the dressing room. I just I never moved my pads. I lie down in a corner, and I remember Shane Julian not saying a word. You just sat in the dressing room, not saying a word. It's not like nowadays. In those days, Ozzy, at lunchtime, people hardly would go for lunch. Guys, you there lie down in the dressing room, and your mind does the thing. So when we walked back out, Shane and I, imagine at lunchtime I was 52, right? And we walked on, and then after lunch, I just saw Shane. First over, Nana chipped down the wicket, hit him for 6. 6. And then he started. So I remember going down the 201, tell him, Shane, we need
take it easy.
Man, it was the worst thing I said. You know, he got to 100 and I was on 70 something still. And when he came into when I was 50 something, man, I've never seen that. That day, he really beat somebody. I made 100 as well, 122. Yes. But that inning that day, that's the only way we could have won that game. And we won the game with about 2 balls to go.
Yeah, that's right. That's
right.
In
Trinidad. Yeah, Shane Julian, that inning that day, man, he really played some strokes. And we won that game.
And see, Ozzy about Will Slack. Middlesex tried their best. They sent him to all kind of experts because, as Sibo said, he collapsed 3 times, and they would never. They never was able to diagnose what was wrong with him, and he was somewhere in Asia.
In Africa, somewhere he died.
Yeah, and he collapsed on the field. Yeah,
he died on the field. When he fell, that was it.
While playing a game, he collapsed on the field.
That was it. But while we're on that, I'm not going to call any names, but I got some news tonight. A close friend of mine, he had a stroke. I mean, and we just have to give him prayers. I'm not going to call any names.
Very popular person.
Very popular, a good pal of mine. Yeah. I felt shocked when I got the text that he got a massive stroke. So I hope things work out for him. I say I'm not going to call any names on the radio, but tough thing for me. I mean, that's when I got the news. I remember telling you also when I got the text, and then somebody just sent and telling me about got a massive stroke. So I only hope things work out because it's not news like that you want to hear sometimes. You don't want to hear news like that. Doesn't want to
Somebody trying to reach us? Yes, Sports Rap?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
On that Wynyard Island team, he had a good opening batsman. Lance John wasn't bad enough. Lance John was very dogged.
Lance was an aggressive guy too, you know.
Solid Lance John.
Solid. Very, very
solid.
I remember Lance very well, of course. Lance is alive still, eh?
Yeah, man, of course. Lance was here and in fact organized everything. He came on a cruise. Good night.
Matt, I'm sorry to you, Matt. Sibo.
Yes?
I understand they take out some of the excitement in the game, now, because no first innings point again.
Yeah, in regional cricket now, you're right. There's no first inning point. You have bonus, you have points for bowling, batting, and everything. You're right. You're correct.
And you remember the days, first innings point game, just like a test,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Yes, you're correct.
Remember
get first innings.
Remember a match in Jamaica? Will Scott was the skipper, and Win was score about 441, and Jamaica was at 440, and that was the only excitement in the game.
Yeah.
And Will Slack starts changing fielders, go there, take them out from there, go there, delay in the game. And I look at the first innings point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
400.
that was like
in jail by 1 run. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
Against Jamaica. Yeah, you're right. That caller follows his cricket.
Massive score, 441.
Yeah. He's right. You're correct.
Yeah, and another game in Trinidad, when Gracie Chillingford clean ball, I think it was Jumadin. That was another.
Well, he's the caller that always calling for sports at Q95. That caller, voice. So he knows his cricket. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
By the way, Ozzy, Peter just said in a text, Peter Karam, he said, I was featuring him.
You were featuring him?
You remember when I told you what he said?
Yeah.
He told the IMF to go to hell. And he said the growth must be in there, whatever.
Yes.
I mentioned that, yes. Peter, good night. He just sent me a text. Peter, hope you have a good night. Yeah. Peter said the growth must be wherever, in a certain part of whatever.
Certain parts.
Yeah. Can't mention it to the radio anyhow. Yeah.
Guys, we have come to the end. It's 8:02 now, so when you're having fun, time really runs quickly. So we've come to the end of Sports Wrap for today. Until next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Bye-bye from Dr. Sebastian of the Wrist and Nambi Charles and St. Val. Remember, Sunday at St. Joseph, all roads lead to St. Joe for big action. Rollicking time awaits all on Sunday. So on this note, we say bye-bye. And the next voices we will hear is those of the Workers' Voice. And bye-bye until next Thursday. Bye-bye. Good.